Hello, and welcome to our presentation, Healthy Fields, Healthier Oceans. My name's Evan, and my favorite Washington crop is the blueberry.
Hello, my name is Ben, and my favorite crop is the pumpkin.
And my name is Lucy. My favorite crop is the cabbage.
And my name is Ben, and my favorite crop is the purple Viking potato.
Yeah, so a quick overview about our problem. We'll be focusing on how pesticide drifts affects issues within the greater scale of farming, affects ocean acidification, and the greater communities in the area, and how all of that can be solved by some regenerative agricultural solutions.
Yeah, and then as that carbon, shoot. Okay, wait. I'm going straight into social causes, right?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I think we might
Can
have
we
to
restart?
restart. Yeah.
Is that over? All right.
And then we're still doing our the thing we talked about, right? We're passing back and forth.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Just keep it somewhat brief.
Yeah, yeah. I like that.
All right, cool. Here we go. Hello, welcome to our presentation, Healthy Fields, Healthier Oceans. My name's Evan, and my favorite Washington crop is the blueberry.
Hello, my name is Ben, and my favorite crop is the pumpkin.
My name is Lucy. My favorite crop is the cabbage.
And my name is Ben, and my favorite crop is the purple Viking potato.
Yeah. So within this, we'll be talking about how the issue of pesticide drifts um, overall affects not only greater farming practices, but also local communities and affects social or ocean acidification and how this solution can be fixed by just some regenerative agricultural practices.
Yeah, and as ocean acidification happens, it also leaches into social issues. So, for indigenous communities that have been relying on species like oysters and salmon over the century, it affects how much they can harvest every year. And h- losing that ability to harvest species is like a direct hit to culture. And it also hurts commercial fishermen who rely on selling species like salmon, oysters, or shellfish for a living.
This issue also it disproportionately impacts the low income and Latinx communities in the areas. This issue has also been really exacerbated by regulatory gaps. We see a really big shift of responsibility being put on individuals rather than corporations, and we also see like long-term limited access to information about impacts, and then also the impacts of ocean acidification on tribal and coastal communities.
And as these problems get worse, you'll see that species eventually kind of die off and the population starts to taper down. And when that happens, it usually raises prices for items like salmon, for example. Just a few years ago, salmon was $10 a pound at Costco, but over the recent just couple of years with the exacerbation of climate change, it's raised it to all the way to $13 a pound now, which is crazy considering it's only been a few years.
Mm. Um, yeah, indirectly with this issue, we see it causing a heavy reliance on monocrop culture to really maximize the short-term profitability. But we're also seeing this issue cause reliance on synthetic fertilizers, which are fueling climate change and ocean acidification that threaten the fisheries and local coastal community like economies.
And it's not just ocean acidification hurting all of us, it's also pesticide drift as well. So when pesticide drift reaches the water, it kills off a lot of marine species like fish. And then what happens is the diversity and the gene pool gets smaller within the area. And usually that poses a threat to not only future marine life, but also for food systems for humans.
And building off of that, um, the continued use of spraying pesticides creates for the local farming industry to be dependent on chemicals, and it also affects the farmer's ability to use organic pest management, like integrated pest management. Um, so they are relying on the chemicals instead of being able to use organic, which really affects the environmental biodiversity, not only of fish and mammal or sea life, but also of local crops. And I
So now we're
believe,
going to pass it on to the boys to talk about solutions that farmers can do to prevent issues like this in the future.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Lucy. Okay, we're gonna get into the solutions. We have our three C's. We're gonna start off with cover cropping. Cover cropping is a regenerative agricultural process that allows the soil to rest and rejuvenate over the off season. And during this time, plants such as favo bean and clover will be planted into previous beds. And how does this relate to ocean acidification? Well, these cover crop, they're going to absorb excess nutrients such as nitrogen, so that they never have a chance to run off into local bodies of water and produce algae blooms that damages the ecosystem around them. I'm going to pass it over to Evan.
Yeah, thanks. So another way that cover cropping helps mitigate chemical drift is that it maintains soil health in the first place. Cover crops help retain nutrients in the soil, which means that whatever plants and crops farmers put there are going to be healthier to begin with. So that reduces their need for chemical fertilizers, in the first place. So I'm also going to talk about composting. Composting as a practice to reduce ocean acidification and chemical drift. Basically, what composting is when you have organic matter that's been decomposed, compost, and it provides nutrients for whatever plants you apply it to. And it basically functions the same way as a synthetic fertilizer, but since it's natural, it doesn't carry as much of the uh, negative repercussions. So I'll let Ben explain how this is affecting ocean acidification.
Yeah, so um, when we compost more, we're reducing the amount of waste that ends up going into the landfills. And when we do that, then we're cutting down on the CO2 emissions, which is a great first step for mitigating ocean acidification.
And composting also increases natural crop growth, so it reduces the farmer's dependence on fertilizer in the first place. So, which helps tackle these issues at the very beginning. We'll also talk about crop rotation as the final solution. Crop rotation is when farmers plant their crops in different fields, during different growing seasons. So if you have corn that was, in field A last year, it's going to be in field B this year. And the reason why this is helpful, among other things, is because there are new nutrients available in whatever the new soil is going to be, rather than the previous plot of land that the last crop was using as it was growing.
All right, so even though crop rotation and ocean acidification aren't directly linked, they still have some parallels, and crop rotation can impact ocean acidification. This is because when we move crops from different beds, the pH shifts, and so does the water. I'll pass it back to Evan one more time.
Yeah, thanks. So, the final reason why crop rotation is helpful in mitigating these issues is because it disrupts pests and diseases. The reason why it does that is because whatever pests and diseases we're used to, inhabiting and interacting with a certain crop during the previous year, if that same crop is planted somewhere else, that new environment is going to be harder for the pests and diseases to adjust to. So that reduces the need for farmers to use pesticides, which, since they're not doing that from the get-go, it helps reduce chemical drift and helps reduce that ending up in the water stream, reducing ocean acidification. And I also wanted to point out this picture of these lovely farmers on the left here. These are farmers that are working for TILF Alliance, which is the organization that I volunteered for. They promote organic and regenerative practices, so they are definitely implementing the three C's. And maybe could we get like a quick explanation of the algae bloom photo there?
Yeah, of course. So this image is of an algae bloom that's probably related to a runoff from like some farm. And you can see how it disrupts the environment. You can see a dead fish. It's, it's not great.
No. But that's why we use the three C's.
Exactly.
So, anything
We
else you
got the
guys want to add?
solutions.
No, I think you guys did a great job covering the solutions.
Sweet. Well, thank you for your attention. That's it from us.